Welcome, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. Episode 2. Last we left off, our set of 4 kindred of the city of Dallas, some of them newly embraced and some of them a little older, went on an investigation mission. An investigation mission that turned up that the primogen of what is called the Reclaimed in the city is missing. Where they went, why they went, if they're dead, if they're still roaming around in this undeath, remains to be seen. But for now, a stand-in must stand up to the challenge. And who better, according to a letter Prince Warsi may have read in front of them, than the investigators themselves. A coterie now dubbed Dead Man's Hand. And so, the 4 of them joined together as a single unit, acting as primogen, must get to know the city of Arlington, nearby. Kind of in the middle between Dallas and Fort Worth. The whole of the Dallas-Fort Worth area being the domain of this Camarilla. And so, they will be starting a new night, having gotten some rest, informed their sires or mentors as to the position they now sit in, and eventually must meet up to coordinate this sort of thing, as usually this is taken care of by one kindred with the resources and sort of puppeteering of decades or centuries of experience behind them. But these are fledglings, barely even having anything to call their own, and yet having to serve as the go-between between the reclaimed kindred and the rest of the court. So, let's start off with some thoughts, as it has indeed been a trying experience going before the Prince, before Elysium, and before a lot of different things, in order to get their head on straight, as it were. So let's start with Kane. Kane, what are your thoughts kind of going into this new night as you arise to meet sundown?
Well, much like my sire, I can't really fathom why we were picked. I guess the prince has his reasons. All I know is we got a job to do, and I'm going to do it the best I can. That's all I can ever do. I'm going to see what we need to do, who needs help, what we need to solve, and keep our shit together, and make sure things don't get out of hand and become a problem. Because that's the first way to get our ass. And I don't plan to go down for this.
Alright. Best of your ability. Well, perhaps there's a perfectionist amongst you. I'm in a Tremere. Best of your ability is an understatement sometimes, as sometimes you are drawn to be perfect in everything, aren't you, Alexandra?
perfect. Anything less than perfect could end up being our head. So I think ruling this domain from within it is the first viable option that we have. We need to set up a place inside where we can function from, that people can find us in. Would be no good for anybody for us to be scattered. So that's where I'm looking this evening.
All right. Then we have Shriek, the oddity of a Nosferatu. Your thoughts?
Oddity, honey. Please, I end up just making this look good. I know that ends up making many of you jealous, but it's kind of a thing at this point. I end up making wonders all this time about all the troublemakers that we're going to end up having to run into. See, the way I figure it, right now we're in the reclaimed domain. We're ruling all over them. And that means we're in charge of the troublemakers. That means we're in charge of the thin bloods, the caitiffs, the Bruja. Oh god, am I going to have to hear about them again? Gangrel, and, well, God knows what else is out there. So, after we have to end up dealing with all that, well, it's just going to be a whole clusterfuck of a scenario. Thankfully, this is a temporary thing. Hopefully just lasting long enough for us to get the hell out of here and move the fuck on. Because right now, this is... I don't know what kind of game Wars he's playing. But I know that there's at least one person in this coterie he's trying to get killed. And trying to keep it on the nice little legalese. I also know that this is the small region where those who managed to just barely skirt by, that whole bit of him eradicating the threat, the anarchs. Well, those that skim by probably ended up here in our new backyard, infesting the place like fucking worms. And so, now we're just forced to end up making the best of what we have. I swear, I cannot believe that they're going to end up making me clean this mess up. A mess as it is. Or at least that's what I bring. Thankfully. I end up spending some time trying to end up figuring a few things out, work the angles. Because I know that everybody's got a secret, and that secret is a leash that'll hang you if you're not careful. That's how the Camarilla likes to operate, and given the situation we're in, I think it's one I'm starting to appreciate. 15 years in, had to have learned something.
Exactly. And then there's Anna, the youngest of all the fledglings. You've been roped in with these older kindred, possibly not even adults amongst the kindred population, if anything's to scream about. But then again, what are a bunch of babies gonna do in an adult's position in the court?
What are babies gonna do? Right. I think it's more of a question of what they expect us to fail. I just feel overwhelmed. Last night, Roman showed up, and I didn't know what else to do other than redirect him. He was seen. I was seen. We were seen. Definitely by the coterie at the very least. And possibly by someone else. I mean, after all, we have all this power now, all this responsibility, and now all these eyes on us. Expectations. Accountability. And I don't even know. I can barely even reconcile meeting people, to say the least. And yet, I had to stand in some big ballroom and play theater with a bunch of bloodsuckers as old as pioneers. Maybe even older. Fairy tale old. I can't stand it. I just want people to stop looking at me. Please, just stop looking at me.
Perhaps one of these days, it'll just be a fairy tale. Something that gets swept under the rug and forgotten and details lost and, well, just another chapter in your undeath. A chapter early on in it that maybe you can forget. But there's one thing that you can't forget. And that is that you have a promise to keep. A promise to keep to Roman. As you did say that you would meet up with him tonight. Him
I did.
being a man in love. With a thing he knows that could potentially kill him. What does he know about you, Anna?
Sometimes I think that he just pretends. Most of the time I think he's pretending because he doesn't want to interrupt anything. He pretends he doesn't see or he doesn't know. But he does, because neither I nor Dr. Vale made him forget. He knows I killed him. It was just supposed to be another regular night coming back from psychology appointment.
Little did he know that opening that door that night, he would be met with a ravenously hungry beast.
He was the only one that opened up his arms. And I took advantage of it. And I couldn't control it.
Perhaps a memory that sticks out in your mind is that smile going from happy to see you to terrified of you in an instant.
Holding his head.
As you lunged at him.
As he coughed up blood. As his throat bled out. Just watching his eyes slowly fade away. Seeing him now with them wide open. I think he knows everything. And now I'm wondering if love is really the word for it. I think it's more like he's. I'm afraid he's waiting for a moment when I'm weak. I don't know what to trust about him. But I can't give up on him. In truth, as we're walking down the street right now, this is probably the most vulnerable and honest I've actually ever been to him. I can tell him the little things. I can talk to him about it. I can tell him about how much I hate this condition, how much I miss the sun, how much I miss being warm. I can tell him about the absurdity that is feeling like I'm playing some sort of Edwardian circus, to say the least. And I can tell him about my troubles, why I'm scared, why I feel alone. I can be honest with him now. More honest than I've ever been.
And at a point where you mention that you feel like you're alone, he takes you into his arms and he holds you tightly. The warmth of his skin against your icy cold skin. You're never alone, Anna. Not ever.
Anna just puts her cold hands, wraps them around his back. She kind of grabs at his coat, nuzzles into him. And the worst part is, most of the time I wish I was. I really wish I was. And mostly I wish I was just alone with you.
I mean, we could always just go back to mine for a little while. But I think I kind of get what you're meaning. That you're not the only one like you.
I have to be with a few of them now.
Were they the ones I saw in the store yesterday?
Nana just purses her lips. She nudges her head into his chest. If you see them, you really really need to walk the other way. Even if you don't see them, she looks in. Even if you don't see them, if you even so much as think they could be there. You need to go the other way.
That sounds rather paranoid. I've never been a very paranoid person.
I wish I didn't have to be.
Okay. Take your word for it, I guess.
There's gonna be a long while that I can't talk to you.
Why?
It's just... it's dangerous.
You've said that about a lot of different things in the past, and you're always so protective. I honestly feel like I should be protecting you more.
You can hide easier than me.
Is that a jab at me being tall and you're small? I mean, you're very wayfish, but you're not paper thin.
It's more complicated than that. But I can do a lot. I can do a lot to make myself not easy to find at all. A lot more than you think. And the more that you are around me, the more it's a danger to you. Because there's a lot of people right now that want to hurt me.
Why would they want to do that? You're the most unassuming person I know.
I think that's part of the problem. It's just for a little while, Roman. And I want to still talk to you, and I want to come back to you. And she grabs his hands and holds them in hers.
And he holds your hands tightly. He looks like he's kind of choking back some tears, possibly.
I just need time.
Yeah. Time. Sure. You kind of just... his eyes start to bounce around the environment around you. Finding it rather hard to look at you right now.
She just grabs his head, pulls him in to where he kisses him. Just deeply on the street there.
When people say they need time, Anna, that means it's a breaking up.
It's not that. It's not, God, I swear.
You promise?
Absolutely. I can't do this without you. It's all the more reason why I need a moment to make sure everything is okay.
And he just kind of presses his forehead against yours. Just don't take too long, okay?
I promise. I promise.
Because I need you.
I do too. She holds on to him. There is a single bloody tear that just half drips down her face.
And he catches it and wipes it away with his thumb.
Sorry. Sorry, I don't mean to. I know the stains are hard to get out. I'm sorry.
Don't even worry about it.
It's just a little over a bit. I'll come see you as soon as I can.
Okay. Just be safe. Whatever it is.
I'll try my best. But for a fleeting moment, her mind crosses, ponders over what safe could even mean right now.
Speaking of which, I do need rouse checks for waking this morning. This evening, I should say.
Ah! Your timing is immaculate.
Of course it is.
Ah. Success.
Thankfully not any hungrier.
And I won't get hungrier, dang it.
Looks like everyone is perfectly fine for the moment. There are no hunger pains that come over you. Maybe a stray sort of whisper or jumbled mess of sounds in your mind, but nothing that you recognize as that specific impulse. You've been living with this condition long enough to be able to discern the difference that's between your voice and your mind, between the hunger, the compulsion, the need, the drive, the hunter within you, and the web of voices that only just touch your mind when they're loud enough. A dull whisper for the most part, but every once in a while a single stray voice will try and weasel its way in, testing you, distracting you, encouraging you, tempting you. Everything that your own mind speaks at you and more.
One part of my worries are mine. What part is just a monster's? Anna finishes up the date rather nominally with your own. You manage things, go to a normal restaurant, where I will blush of life.
Where you will
Thank
blush
you.
a wife to consume
Look.
food.
Yep.
That does make you a little hungrier. The scent of the food that you had in front of you in life would have been enticing. But now it just, as you shovel it into your mouth and swallow it down, it just disintegrates into ash, and you can feel the sort of pressure and hunger that is perhaps provoked by the fact that you're scarfing down food that does not sustain you. No, instead, your teeth want to sink into his neck, as it's done several times before, to drink of him. And maybe even a stray thought about ripping his neck out one more time.
It always used to be like a luxury. There would be 1,000 things I would skip over, not a single moment that I would allow myself unless it was with him. Because it was him. And now I can't even enjoy that.
You
I can't.
want nothing more than to kiss his neck and sink your fangs in with that kiss, to give him the pleasure that he desires so much from you.
Stop. I don't want that.
Yes, you do.
I don't want that. I don't. I can't stand that. I just want him to be safe. I want him to live like a person.
He isn't a person, he's food.
Stop.
Sustenance.
Nana. She'll force her way through the rest of the day. It's clear. Maybe just a little bit. That she's trying hard to keep herself together, to make sure that she doesn't cry more, to continue pretending to be human.
And not terribly long after the date do you have to expel all of the ash and blood spent on choking it down to the porcelain god. Perhaps feels a little too familiar in some cases.
Too familiar indeed.
All
If it wasn't a pup.
All the purging you've done. The damage you've caused to your own health.
I actually want to keep this down. It's the blood. It's the blood I want to get rid of. It's not right. And if I could just get all of it outside of me. If I never had to drink another drop for as long as I existed. I don't care if I never had to see the sun again. I don't care if I would die at the stake. I just don't want to fucking lose control like that ever again. I just don't want to. I don't want to lose control. I make my way back to the coterie house.
Or at least the one spot that you've designated that all of you would be meeting up tonight. As you don't have an established meeting spot in Arlington at the moment. But there is perhaps a little abandoned house on the corner of a street somewhere. Just sitting there, otherwise rotting, as a place to sort of meet up, as it were. So, you make your way there, and when you arrive, it seems that your coterie mates are indeed there as well. They've all kind of gathered here as a point to that. Oh, my roll 20 seems to have worked. Hang on. I lost my roll 20. Oh, hang on.
Neat.
Neat. It's probably because I still have this open. I should probably quit that. Everything's telling me I'm out of memory. I don't. How? How am I out of memory? Technical difficulties, everyone. One moment, please. Okay. Let's try this again. Alright. So, in all of that, you all make your way and have arrived at this sort of abandoned house that you've all agreed to meet up on. Each of you arriving in your own time, of course. But there are some things to do amongst all of you that I'm sure you'll want to talk about before you setting off to do so.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to end up keeping everybody waiting. Especially if it means getting out of that dingy apartment of mine.
Rat and
Mostly.
cockroach infested as it is.
I try not to remind myself of those little things. It's distracting.
Very distracting.
I am at this exact moment trying to kind of go over some mental notes. Just thinking of who I should be expecting to show up here amongst the reclaimed. It's honestly kind of pathetic. But really, I'm just trying to end up here making sure that everything ends up here going cordially. Then again, we have Kane, so Daddy's gonna have to knock him out if they end up getting a little uppity. Sounds like a sport to me. But I don't want him to take all the fun. Besides, that's all evidence to the contrary. I don't actually like putting my hands on people. Not my forte. At this exact moment, I imagine I'm more getting impatient. I'm not hungry. And right now, I'm waiting for a shit show to arrive, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. It's just aggravating in ways that I can't even begin to describe. I mean, really, do we expect us to just stay here? It's... I can already feel them falling.
Alexandra, Anna, Kate, you all have also arrived. In whatever order you like. Shriek seems to be in the first to arrive.
Okay.
And he's
I guess,
kind of making himself obvious to see in a sense. At least obvious to you.
Alright, well, I guess I would just kind of look around, check my surroundings, and kind of walk in looking for everyone. Probably having done my nightly rounds before.
You've checked in with everyone at the gym, and nothing seems to need your immediate attention at the moment, so business as usual.
That's good. I'm guessing all the fighters have everything that they need, and all their work is trying to get registered and setting up fights for them, and the promotions is going well. And Chatterbox probably has the other fights lined up and is dealing with all of that while I'm busy.
In his very common with very little words, has indicated that he doesn't need your assistance tonight.
Things will go smoothly then, as well as they can. I guess we have to deal with everything else, and I'll walk in and probably see Shriek and walk over to him. Good evening.
Well, it is now that you're here.
I try.
Do a bit more than that. Anyway. Any idea of how long it's going to take for the rest of the bitches to get here?
I don't know what they're up to. I just know that we meant to meet up here before we were going to do whatever we need to. I have my own plans.
It's okay, big, tall, and dark. It's... Right now, we just need to end up waiting for everybody else to end up getting. Get a kind of understanding of what we're looking for. We're going to we ended up putting out the word not too long ago, and, well, I have absolute faith that the Hound is going to want to end up making sure everybody's informed of the 4 new bigwigs that suddenly stepped into the Primogen scene. They're going to want to end up coming to us with all kinds of problems, and we're going to have to pretend to care and see what the problems are and try to end up making this whole thing just a little bit more tolerable. And then we got to end up figuring out, well, how are we going to end up making sure the kickbacks end up going back to Prince Warzi? Because we're not getting this for free, I can assure you of that. And then we got to figure out how the hell to end up doing that without accidentally kickstarting an anarch revolution in our own backyard after Prince Warzi has kind of made it well, he's dropped a little bit of hint in 100 bodies that were dropped more than a few years ago, just to end up making things a little bit smoother in that he no longer has an anarch problem. So if we're the ones to accidentally kickstart that, well, he's already kind of made the example, and I'm really not wanting to treat the first time as a dress rehearsal.
Yeah. Well, I figure you're smart enough to figure out how to handle the kickbacks. I have my own ideas of what I need to do tonight.
Oh god, it's thinking on its own.
Yes, it does.
That might be about when Alexandra starts walking through the somewhat dilapidated door. It's barely on its hinges. Place should have been condemned.
Kind of looks around as she walks through the door, kind of expecting something to fall on her. She parked a little ways down the street and walked the rest of the way. Of course, platforms that she's wearing are certainly not designed for walking distance.
Oh, they're
Even
doing you
so.
no favors, honey.
Doing more favors than that gaudy appearance.
Hey, don't pick on the big guy. He's trying.
I was referring to you, but okay.
Oh, now you're just being hurtful.
Oh, you love it. You know it. So, that's 3. Where's number 4?
Well,
It's probably at that point that Anna also silently creeps in.
Alex just about jumps out of her bloody boots, turning around like, oh my...
Okay, we're gonna have to put a bell on you or something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've got a cute little cat collar I can loan.
I prefer to get my own supply, thank you.
Ladies, please. The deer probably just got hung up in traffic. And after all, they're the only one who seems to appreciate any degree of silence in this room. Why spoil the most of the charming quality?
I guess I'll take that as a compliment.
It was. Hey, look who's catching on. Oh, fantastic. So, agenda for the evening, itinerary, anything like that? Any of the boring kind of boardroom talk that we're going to have to get used to? Oh, God, there's a Persian Council meeting we're going to have to deal with.
About those. I had a conversation with them. Kane was there. With us. With me. And I think we might have a chance to sort of be on some of their good sides. They're about as good as it gets. Primogen Ibrahim was interested in being able to, I guess, mentor us in matters. But that also means that we all need to attend every Primogen Council all the time.
That's the trick. Keep us on a short leash and make us too worried about anything else so we don't have to end up getting any of those weird things they call ideas. Big guy, just so you were clarified, those are the headaches with the pictures and the words?
Oh, okay. And
See?
Kane's just going to walk over and just kind of like flop in probably a dilapidated couch and just relax while we're figuring out what we're doing.
Kind of creaks a little noisily underneath you.
Yeah, they don't make them for someone my size usually. So, I'm surprised it's still standing after I flop like that.
How often do they have these meetings?
Coffee?
You do recall that Primage and Abraham did say that they were bumping it up from once a week to twice a week
Twice
now.
a week. Twice a week?
I'll get some info
That's-
on that.
Well, we're gonna have to work quickly then before our first one so we actually know what the fuck is going on. I'm gonna go to my street level people that I know and try to get a lay of the land.
That sounds like a good idea, actually. I kind of want to have a look at the real estate in the area.
That can be done.
Corpse has only been cold for a few thousand years, and you're already moving in.
Well, we can't exactly expect to function as people that run this area without existing within it.
Shriek's eyes kind of looked to Hannah for a second. That little bit of, sure they can't, but you and me know better. Looks back to Alexandra. Well, I can certainly appreciate a need for cover, but we're gonna have to end up playing this one a little bit fast and loose. Don't exactly have the time to set up a big meet, though I'm expecting some troublemakers to show up tonight. Should be fun.
They shouldn't be much.
Big guy, have you dealt with kindred of ill temperament before? I'm kind of curious. I mean, I'm not doubting your physical capability. I mean, you are more fridge than man at this point. But have you ever dealt with something with fangs and the want to suddenly end up turning a flagpole into a leather strap?
Kane will just start chuckling. Throughout my life, I've dealt with people like that. Kindred and human.
Good. So you know then, when this ends up breaking down, it's rarely the physical that ends up coming in. Though I do appreciate the hands-on approach of hired goons. Oh, come on. Nobody was raised with The Simpsons. Like, is everybody here embraced before the age of television?
No, I just avoided watching it.
Okay, uncultured. Got it. All right.
Look, I had more fun with my books. I'm sorry.
The Karma Sutra didn't exactly end up qualifying as educational reading, okay? Fun, though.
Well, at least I read something.
Not all of us could afford cable.
That being said, Kane, you said you've had experience with more cranky kindred.
Yes.
Have you had anything to do with some of the kindred in this domain?
Yes.
Perfect. Do you know anything about the Thin Bloods or perhaps the Bruja?
How many would I know? Coffee would have frequented my proclivities.
Well, you do know about Danny and Monty, and you do know that they do have friends that they have talked about briefly in conversation before. Not that they ever get very in depth with anything, but aside from your gym, there's only one other place that they're regular, and that's a bar nearby to the gym.
Well, I also run the fights and everything, and
Hmm.
I imagine plenty of Bruja and Gangrel have partaken in that.
To be, it's more the Thin Bloods that take part in the fights that you set up when it comes to Kindred. The Bruja, the one Bruja that you're aware of, knows what kind of monster he is when he has a temper, and tends to avoid you.
Hmm.
Or more appropriately, tends to avoid fights in general.
Okay. I know of some of them. I know places they frequent we could check out. That's what I plan to do tonight.
I'd be interested in meeting some of these people.
That can be arranged. We could do some reconnaissance and get the lay of the land and to look over at Shriek. Maybe you and Anna can figure out a way to make this more profitable to Prince Warzy and, you know, keep our heads out of the guillotine. Is that okay, sweetheart?
I don't see any particular problems that are going to happen in the immediate future. So I guess we'll just have to end up making it all, well, we'll make do. So, with that in mind, tell anybody else since I'm going, I'm just going to end up walking the block a bit. Gets a little stifling in rooms like this for too long, and I really would like to end up being able to end up meeting people on good footing. So, unless there's anything anybody needs from me, in which case, I'm happy to help. I'm gonna end.
Could I join you tonight, Shriek?
He almost looks like he's shocked that somebody actually took him up on it. You know, like he's been like almost actively trying to be as thorny as possible, without overtly trying to end up going, I get away from me. So he seems like almost taken aback for a moment. Like, really?
I'll try not to be in the way too much. I just...
Kid, don't worry about it. You're the young one, I get it. You want to end up learning from the seasoned vets. Probably the smartest thing you can end up doing. And since I don't see your sire here, though, for all I know, they could be, well, I'll try my best to end up acquiescing to your request in the spirit of the traditions upheld by this man's camarilla.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Not at all. Pleasure to end up assisting in the Grand Ivory Tower, of which we all hold membership. He walks to the door and opens it as though offering a little bit of a curtsy when he does so.
Nana, not quite sure if this is a joke or not, if this is like sarcasm, just gives a little curtsy with her dress as well before passing by.
Oh my god, you're adorable.
A word of advice, Anna. Just be careful what you learn from him.
Oh, please, that should be applied to everybody. But good, I can see that, yes, he can rub two brain cells together and it does cause friction.
I've had my moments.
Yeah,
And he'll
I'm
just
sorry
kinda
that
get
you
up.
wasted them tonight. He just skips out. He sachets out of the door at that point. All the sass in the world.
Oh yes, it is quite a
Shake it,
sachet.
baby.
You know it.
I'm just gonna look over at Anna. Or Alex, I think. Shit, I've got them mixed up. I'll look over at Alex and I'm gonna have to get used to that one, I think.
Oh, I've known plenty like him.
Ugh.
How's your
Well,
night been so far?
surprisingly, things are going smoothly, which hopefully that's, setting up the rest of it. But we'll find
Oh,
out.
it never stays smooth. Never.
No, but we can be hopeful.
Hopeful allows it to get crushed. That being said, I am slightly hopeful that we will get something done this evening.
Oh, we're going to get to meet people. We'll get information.
How, close are you with these kindred that you know?
I wouldn't say we're besties, but we've known each other for a good amount of time. And there's a healthy respect.
There's a healthy respect, so do they trust you at all?
As much as one can trust anyone in this world.
Well,
Trust has its limits, but
of course.
we're on good terms. That's about as best as I can describe it.
That's good. I want to find out what the actual situation here is.
We're of the same mind.
How strangled is this region? Is it strangled?
I want to
Or
figure
is
out
it
I want to figure out who the players are. If there are any troublemakers. If anybody's being exploited. Figure out who's doing what. I want to get the lay of the land.
I want to know how comfortable people are.
Yeah,
Comfortable people don't make trouble.
that's what I'm thinking. The more we can keep problems to a minimum, the less of a headache Prince will have, and we don't have to deal with as much. So I'm looking to cut these problems off at the knees.
And I have another question. Alex moves in and she sits down beside Kat, kind of leaning into him a little bit, and she drops her voice very low.
He'll cock his head down.
What do you think really happened to our dear Primogen?
Well, when someone that high status goes missing, it's either because they don't want to be found or because someone doesn't want them to be found. So either way, it's not good. And in the end, we just gotta treat it the same. We gotta keep our heads above water, get our shit done, and make sure we're not next.
The way we found her abode, or her meeting area, suggests that maybe she was in a bit more trouble.
Yeah,
Maybe something was hunting her.
that's why I want to talk to the street people. See if there's any rumors, if anybody's been squeezing the area or snooping around.
Well, yeah. Lots of thought. Snooping. And Shriek was saying he was expecting people tonight.
Well, most when there's new management of a thing, anybody that's looking to try to move up or gain something is going to try to get in good with the new people. So that's kind of expected. It's any organization or business. It's kind of general. I'd expect some of them to show up. Those kind of people I expect are exactly who Shriek can deal with. And if they get out of hand, well, they call us and we come back and deal with it. But I doubt it's going to get that bad.
I don't doubt.
At least
What do you
not
reckon?
hurt.
Do you reckon we're going to keep using this place?
I doubt it. I mean, this is good enough for now, but there's many other places that we could probably, well, given Shriek's proclivities, maybe that is the better idea. It's a place like this to meet up. I have places that we could use for more official things, but I don't know.
My thought is, if we're not going to use this place often, I might as well not waste the blood. But if it's going to be a common use area, might be a good idea to put some warding in place. Any defense is good defense. In my thoughts, anyway.
It never hurts. The more prep you do, the easier things are in the end. It's one of the first things you learn when you start fighting.
Well, I'll leave all the fighting to you. Not exactly a hands-on type.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that. Much as Shriek would like to joke about it, it's not something that I try to use very often.
Of course. If there's another way to solve a problem, why wouldn't you use that? Although I'm not going to lie, I'm not sure if Shriek is good at solving problems or making them yet.
Probably in equal measure.
I'm certainly interested to find out what his capabilities really are.
The only problem is sifting through all the bullshit to actually see what's going on.
He does talk a lot of bullshit. But he makes a lot of sense. I'll grant him that much.
So, Alex and Kane, where are you headed?
Well, if I know the bar that most of these people frequent and hang out at all the time, I figure we would start there.
Okay. And Shriek and Anna, where are you headed?
Well, given the fact that I ended up making the request earlier for the Hound to be able to hopefully get us a few of the important members of the community to gather around, to hear them out, see where they stand and what it is that we've inherited. Well, I'm not going too far. Just enough to get the lay of the land.
Okay.
Maybe do some casual hunting if the opportunity just happens to pass by. Reality is, I'm mostly just trying to get a better handle on what this neighborhood's like and, well, see if there's any place worth hanging around that meets my particular proclivities.
Okay. In which case, since you don't have much in the way of lane yet, this is just going to be a resolve and streetwise. And you can get assist from Anna if she has streetwise.
Ooh, do I have streetwise? You might have a complication there, as I am Yeah, I have no streetwise.
Oh, nothing. So this is just to get a sense of the neighborhood, right?
A sense of the immediate neighborhood, yep.
And that was wits?
Nope, resolve.
Okay. Well, we haven't stuck around here too long, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Why not?
Okay. That's 2.
That's a start.
That's a good start. The neighborhood that you're immediately in is mostly residential in nature. There are very few and far between when it comes to stores or shops or anything like that. But you see the occasional one. It's mostly houses, mostly single-family houses. There are a couple of apartment complexes in the immediate area as well. All of which, when you kind of travel kind of around the block, kind of giving yourself a bit of a long walk over the course of an hour or so, the neighborhood at this time of night, with it being around 10 p.m., 11 p.m., relatively quiet. It's
boring.
Perhaps. But that is something to keep in mind, as you barely see anyone on the streets. There's the occasional car that passes by. There's the occasional sort of loud voice that you hear in the distance, but otherwise seems relatively safe.
I'm sure at some point, not too long after leaving, Creek would end up taking maybe some back alleys or something like that, just to something that's a little bit out of the way, just get a feel for the places that aren't being shown in the wonders of suburbia in the headlights. Before he kind of ends up sitting himself down on maybe a trash can or something like that, just enough to kind of rest his legs. Not that that's a requirement anymore. Kind of sprawls out across and leans back up against the garage, which he has no idea who owns this place, nor does he particularly care. Well, he has turning to look at the demure figure that's been following him. So, you didn't seem to me like the type that likes to end up going outside much. Something on your mind?
I guess I'm just trying to understand how you do it.
How I do what?
Any of it. I mean, you mentioned that you're probably the oldest of us.
Seems to be the case.
How long?
Tell you what. I'll answer a question of yours, and you answer a question of mine. The second one of us thinks that we're lying, we just call the game off.
Okay.
So, he thinks back to it. How have you been feeding these past few nights? You're new, so I imagine you're still coming into your own when it comes to hunting. So how have you been doing it so far?
I try to hold it off.
Hold it off? That's not answering what I asked you. Trying to hold it off means you haven't, right? Which means you've fed.
I don't really like feeding. If I have to, then I just get people alone.
Smart. They're alone, less likely for witnesses, and less worrying about other people walking in on it. You know, it's kind of like walking in on your mom and dad. Just all kinds of awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do I do it? Well, mostly I stay where most don't really care to look. People are forgotten all the time. People go missing all the time, and not everybody gets the luxury of having their moment in the sun, their moment in the papers, their moment in the spotlight saying, oh, look at how horrible things have happened to me. Most just kind of become ignored. When push comes to shove, most people will just actively turn their cameras on and watch somebody get murdered than actually do anything about it. Most people will watch a group of gangbangers turn somebody pretty inside out and watch it happen and record it and maybe upload it to Pornhub rather than actually stop this horrible thing from happening. That's the nature of the human condition. For me, I look for these kinds of areas and I keep it on the down low. Sometimes I'll just notice that somebody's window might be open because it's getting a little warm. Happens in Texas. Other times, people are just sparing for air conditioning. It's amazing how when you go to a place that doesn't have good air in good AC, or it's busted down, he looks to an air conditioner that maybe happened to be there and just takes a stick and puts it in the blades before it starts running. Oops. Most people just open a window. Leave it open. All they're doing is inviting you in. Take a little bit, and they wake up with a headache, maybe just say they didn't get a good night's sleep, and well, hey. Actually, last time I ended up doing that, he pulls out what appears to be a small pocket knife. Now, this was on their dresser. Swiss Army knife, not really practical for most things, but it was cute and had an engraving on it. I thought it was nice, and I figure there's somebody who might appreciate it a little bit more. Couple bucks in the pocket, too. It means I don't have to end up going hungry, and I don't have to go without.
See, just generally keeping your head down lets you continue.
I'd like to wits insight, Hannah, at this point.
Okay.
Anna, what are you attempting to do? Attempting to find some kind of camaraderie there, or are you attempting to redirect?
Trying to understand how Shriek copes with it.
And I think it's because Anna's
Like-
not being straightforward with the coping with it, what it actually is. Kind of
Yeah.
dancing around it would make Freak kind of go, okay, this is an awkward line of questioning, but I'm willing to.
Okay.
Yeah, essentially, how is Shriek not cracked under the pressure yet?
How is Shriek not cracked? And trying to be a little deceptive about how you're trying to gauge that information. Okay, then I'm gonna say that is more of a charisma subterfuge. You're not trying to manipulate him into anything, but you're trying to avoid directly asking him the question.
Okay.
Read it too.
Do you want a willpower, Anna? Since this is an opposed roll. Okay.
No, I'm not terribly intent on winning anything here.
Okay. And you're not intending to cause her any kind of mental harm, are you, Shriek?
No. I'm
Okay.
just trying to understand what the fledgling wants.
Okay. Since Shriek wins, and since Anna is trying to coyly figure out what Shriek's about, Shriek, you kind of get that as a bit of an understanding, is that she's being coy about what she really wants. But that's all you get from it.
You don't want to ask me the real tough question, do you?
I don't know how to ask it without making that obvious about where I'm at.
Okay. So ask me what my favorite color is.
What's your favorite color?
Red. Absolutely fabulous red. Everybody wants to go cool in blue, but, I very much fuck that. And just ended up saying, I'm gonna make it my own. With my little act of rebellion in commonplace. The irony being, the more I rebel to that particular substrata, the more I appear to be the same.
As evidenced by his very red hair.
It does look good on you.
I make it look good. And that's the trick. So now that I've answered one of your questions, I'll end up answering one that I think you're gonna want to know, which is, what do I know about you, right? Where you're at.
I suppose.
Well, first off, you really struggle with trying to end up keeping your personal business out of this life. Don't get twisted. He was cute and absolutely delicious looking.
Oh, that's pushing your buttons, Anna.
And that's what they'll do to you. Make you feel conflicted. But you need that confliction. It's knowing you are something and then aren't something at the same time. It's knowing that they're walking around like a Happy Meal with legs. And that you're trying to make friends with them.
Anna, I'm gonna need a frenzy check. Difficulty 1. You don't like him talking. You don't like Shriek talking about Roman as a meal because you don't like thinking about him like that.
That is the first statement. I forgot. We recovered willpower from last session, right?
Yep. Yes,
I never fixed it.
Yep. That's the way we do things around here. Is on a new night, you recover willpower equal to your resolve or composure. You pass, but he's talking a little bit too much about how Roman could potentially be a snack and not a snack, as it were.
Are you pulling your fangs out at me?
Can we just change the subject?
No. And that's important, because that's part of the answer. It's not a pretty one. It's not an answer that you're going to like. Now, it took me a grand total of one night to figure that out. You're new, so I'm trying to give you a little bit of slack. What do you think's going to happen when you deal across somebody who's been doing this for a century? I've been doing it for a decade, and I like to think I'm pretty good at it. They will use that against you.
I know.
But that right there, that little bit of fangs and that little bit of anger, that'll stay with you too. And you know what's the thing that you might not want to hear? That's human too. I've seen things that you wouldn't believe. And when I end up feeding, I remind myself that what that is me trying to keep myself safe from them and them safe from me. Us being hungry will make us do things that we really wouldn't want to do. But it's in our nature. Now you can cry with that. Or you can end up finding a way to channel it. The Camarilla is a lot of bluster. It's a lot of pecking, a lot of cloak and dagger. That's why I find it really fun, actually. But it does do one thing. It keeps you focused. Focused on the thing that's important. We're a parasite on humanity. We're not getting around that. We need their blood. We need their shelter. We need almost everything about them. So much so we emulate them. We try and hang out in their clubs, wear their latest fashions, you know, be it from Gucci or Hot Topic, it doesn't really matter. It's there. But we can guide it. We can help them a little bit. And in doing so, they help us. Because we can either be a deadly tick, a diseased mosquito, or we can find some method of, what do the comics call it, symbiosis. That's really the end goal when you think about it. It's that state where they feed us and we feed them. In a way. Each one of us is a walking history. Each one of us is a fountain of knowledge that has passed by, lived experiences. And each one of us should be highly invested in maintaining that body count to be as low as possible. Not only for our protection, but for theirs. I take the masquerade very seriously. I know that that's hard to believe. But the reason is because if somebody fucks with it, that means that somebody's going to come after something I care about. Or they're going to put that in the crosshairs, and somebody's going to come after that. And honey, you ain't seen the bitch come out yet. I keep her good and chained up, but on occasion I like bringing her out for a walk, and she can get loud. Ooh, the noises she makes. And I'll run with it. Because this city, it belongs to the Camarilla. You're Camarilla. So in some small part, it belongs to you. Just now we got kind of thrown in the higher echelons. You're forced to learn to tread water in the deep end. Thankfully, Streak's here to end up helping you out with that.
Okay.
Does that answer your questions?
For now.
So ask me another.
Where are you going tonight?
I am looking for trouble. I like to know when trouble's coming. Lets me get ahead of the curve. And then when trouble happens, everybody's gonna ask, what is happening? And that's where I end up managing to keep my own little piece of the Camarilla nice and secure. Because I know when no one else does. I know I don't look it. I keep this handsome little mug of mine all crisped up and shaved and moisturized. But I'm still Nosferatu. Don't ever forget that.
As a rat starts to climb onto his shoulder. Starts to nibble away a little bit at that fishnet shirt.
I've been told two things. I either am trouble, or I can predict it. So maybe I can help you.
Maybe we can help each other. Just remember, little fledgling Amalcab, you're currently swimming in deep. I can help you only so much. You think you're trouble. Maybe you are. But so long as I can keep an ear on the track, a finger on the pulse, or one between the legs, I'm happy.
Okay.
If you have any questions, I'll end up answering. And we'll play this game again. Because normally my information comes a lot steeper of a price. Blood and favors, that's what makes the world go round. You want to know? I can find out. Because if I don't know, I know somebody who does. But you get a discount because we're working together. Fellow Primogen. And it's on each of us to end up holding each other to our station. That's the way this works. Some feudal hierarchy bullshit that came around sometime in XY century and has been following through ever since. And now we gotta dance the same tango. Huzzah!
I have 2 left feet.
Well, the good news is that 2 lefts make a backwards.
I don't see how that's good.
because it means you can move forwards again. He stops with that statement and starts to continue on his walk, his observation.
Okay.
Unless someone
Anna?
has to shout back at him.
Doesn't really know how to respond just yet, but is definitely thinking.
Shriek, it is about that moment that you do find that as you're continuing to walk on, there is someone that you do see that you know.
Oh, fuck all kinds of duck right in the twat.
Doesn't seem to have noticed you, but you do know that there is one reason why she's here. Her history. Or more appropriately, her sire's history.
Okay. Anna, we're about to end up meeting trouble.
See,
So we're going to play the role. Watch the waltz. See on how this goes. The Shriek doesn't bother to obfuscate. Instead, starts to walk with Anna. You can tell, trying not to outstep her, not making it too clear that he's doing a beeline right for Miss Kaufman, this beauty who has this weird haircut that comes from like Japanese comics or something, with the brow and the undercut. It just makes her look like her head's a fishbowl, really. I don't know why that's in fashion, why the helmet look is big, but hey, you know what? Embrace 15 years, maybe I'm falling out of step. Oh, who am I kidding? I make the steps.
She seems to be walking alone, minding her own business, as you're approaching. Are you using Silence of Death?
Nope. I am being very clear that I am walking towards them.
And so, as you're walking towards them in your chunky boots, she turns around and sighs.
Good evening, Miss Kaufman. How are you doing tonight?
Shriek.
Well, since we're not in private quarters, I guess I can't be too harsh on you, but there's been an addendum to that you haven't heard.
Oh, I've heard.
Come to congratulate.
Not exactly. I'm minding my own business.
I am so glad to end up hearing that. But I wanted to end up talking to you for a bit, since apparently we're going to be neighbors soon.
Fantastic.
I'm so glad you agree. Now.
And who's your friend?
Oh, she's so quiet sometimes I forget she's even there. Anna, this is Miss Jade Kaufman, a member of an elite club, a blue blood, so to speak.
Yes.
You see, Miss Kaufman's here because certain family relations kind of went south, and thankfully, our boss had granted her clemency, giving her here pride of place and able to assist it full-heartedly with the problems that may end up coming in our little neighborhood, which there might be a few that creep up from time to time, but I have no doubt that Ms. Kaufman would be right on top of that.
Anna just tilts her head at her.
Miss
Are
Kaufman,
you on top
Pleasure.
of it?
I'm sorry, what?
I'm just curious.
No, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh. Are you on top of it?
I tend not to pay attention most of the time when Shriek is talking, so I do apologize. I don't know what I'm supposed to be on top of.
Shriek just looks at Anna, and I'm sure Anna can at least understand that Shriek has now 5 responses that he can end up filling in there if he were wishing to end up being a bit more of a shit disturber.
Anna will actually put her hand out for a handshake. Not having the technical introduction, coded introduction, she's going to go ahead and not blush of life. She's just going to go in as is.
Okay. And Miss Kaufman will take your hand and gently shake it. Her hand also very cold.
It's nice to meet you.
I love bringing friends together.
We're not friends, Shriek.
You wound me. But we are associates, whether you like that part or not. Now, I'm trying to be friendly because I know it's going to be a rocky relationship from here on out.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're going to do the same.
Of course.
As you may know, Anna here also is a shared member of that same prestigious title that has happened to be dropped upon our laps as of recent.
Bunch of babies.
Yes. Unfortunately, I'm sure that you would have been a far better choice, but, well, I
Shocking.
get told history.
Shocking, I know.
But,
Given what you do for a living.
please. I'm the one who likes to end up trying to end up keeping dear friends informed, and I like to end up making sure that everybody who needs to know knows. With you, you still owe us a update. Let us know on your own businesses around here and try and end up figuring out on how we can end up making everything more amicable. If only to keep the gears running until a proper substitute is found. So, darling, we get to work together. You and I, bosom buddies.
If you must know.
Oh, I know. Fruit fly gets caught in the back of your throat once in a while. That's okay. It'll pass.
It's your fault.
Oh, please. I bathe occasionally.
You're intolerable.
Still here. Can't say the same for some.
Make an insight check, Shriek.
Ooh.
Are you
That
going to leave it as
is
a secret?
Yeah, I am.
Fangs buried and everything. Anna, you see Shriek kind of, in a sense, take on more of that Nosferatu sort of deformity for just the slightest moment, as his, while he may not necessarily do it permanently, his fangs elongate all over his mouth. So he's able to hide that Nosferatu-ness behind what normally would be a normal set of teeth. But suddenly they're sharp. And a full mouth of them, too. And he grins at Jade. Shriek, you know that that's pushing her buttons. And just for the briefest of moments, that facade, that blue blood facade of hers, cracks for a moment. While she may find you very irritable in public, there is a true and ultimately deadly disdain that she has for you.
Bosom buddies. So,
My business tonight is of a personal nature. It is not of Camarilla business. Nor
Things
is
are
it your
happening.
business.
It's at this point us trying to end up ascertaining what it is that is common amongst this little chunk of land. And it also ends up meaning that we are taking stock of not only who's who, but what are they doing and what are they about. After all,
Isn't it obvious what I'm about?
well, if it's that obvious, he turns to Anna. Anna, what is Miss Kaufman about?
Anna?
You've been so surreptitious, Miss Kaufman. Nothing but walls. I'm afraid that I don't know anything about you.
Now you see why it is that I called everybody over. To help educate the young. After all, they're babies. He clasps a hand on Anna's shoulder. And they need to end up being educated. They need to learn. So I am taking my solemn responsibility incredibly seriously. And introducing them to members of the established domain. In hopes to end up building the bridges that will end up helping us form and steady our glorious tower. Sexy, isn't it? I'd like to think it's a good pitch. Working on it just for you, Coffin.
Jade kind of looks over to you, Anna. If I were you, I would ditch him. He will stab you in the back.
That's a statement that can be said for all kindred.
It's especially true for him. He buys and sells information so he can give it to the highest bidder. Cares nothing about himself, nothing but about anyone but himself. As I'm sure Eugene would have noticed about you.
You, my dear, are my greatest sales rep. I am so glad and excited to have you on board. Welcome to the domain, now reissued.
Whatever did happen to Mr. Wolford, Shriek?
Last time I ended up checking, got on the wrong side of Warzy. Though I imagine that happens with conspirators.
Mr. Wolford was a dedicated man to the Camarilla.
I'm sure Prince Warzy would love to end up hearing you explain on how he's mistaken.
I have yet to find proof. It's only a matter of time.
Yet the evidence was all clearly played out. I understand. It's a thing about you Blue Bloods and who you're related to, yada yada yada. But, so I understand that's a sore spot. But you have a chance to do a new beginning. Scrub it clean. And I would like to help work that out.
Sure you would.
Sure I would. I am loyal to the city.
Perhaps.
To Swazi and to the Camarilla. We're on the same team. And I would not want to ever end up making it you end up thinking anything other. Old grudges have a tendency of tipping the mortar.
Is that all?
I look forward to seeing you tonight with everybody else. But I'm not going to keep you hung up. You said you have personal matters to attend to. So, Toodles. He grabs Anna's arm and tries to force her fingers to end up doing the finger wave for Toodles.
Seriously, though, ditch him. He'll cause you nothing but pain. And she begins to walk away.
And he waits until she's out of distance before he rouses the blood, and I am going to have her followed. I would like to know where she's going.
Okay.
And birds of night are so easy to keep track of. At the very least, I can figure out what building she's going to, which is enough.
So you're rousing for
Feral Whispers.
Feral Whispers? Okay.
Yep.
You do remember that commanding animals to do something is at your bane severity penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is for anything that is summoned by my bane, specifically. Exact ruling, though it is at your discretion, but any infested vermin causing a penalty equal to 2+ bane severity, and any attempt of an activity by anyone that requires concentration, social tests, or anything. In addition, here we go. Any attempt to temporarily control the vermin with animalism.
the vermin. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're looking to call an animal towards you in this moment. So I'm going to call that. Okay. So in that case, I am going to ask for a charisma animalkin just to see if you can coax something to come near you.
Charisma animalkin.
You've got Feral Whispers open, so that and don't forget to rouse for it.
Oh, I hate to do this, but I'm going to spend a willpower early. Only 2.
There's 2.
And a rouse check.
Okay.
I'm up 2 hunger now.
Yep. You've coaxed a bird over with a little scrap of food. You picked some kind of worm off of your person and as a bit of bait. And so you speak to this bird to ask it to follow Miss Kaufman, and off it flies.
Looking back at Hannah, I like to keep track of things.
I see. What?
What?
Actually, I can probably assume that. But...
Ask your question. Better take advantage of that discount while you and me are still attached at the hip. Gets a lot more expensive when we're not friends.
What is your relationship with Miss Kaufman? Why does she hate you so much?
Blue bloods aren't normally found in the reclaimed. The reclaimed are members outside of formal Camarilla. The Ventru tend to be a cornerstone of it. So it's considered a great shame when one of their members is caught helping the Anarchs. That ends up carrying to Miss Kaufman quite a bit and stains her reputation. And so, rather than being up there in boardrooms and giddy heights commanding over you as her proper lesser, as you might have noticed, what she's forced to do is now scrape down here in the muck and mud with the rest of us. In the prince's eyes, you have more authority than her. Because she comes from tainted stock. Sire probably didn't suck the right dick. His loss. But it does end up meaning that she has a bit of a vindictive streak to her. She has it in her head that I have something to do with it. Whether I do or not really isn't the point. The point is that she needs somebody to end up being the avatar of everything that has gone wrong with her and her whole lineage in this city. And why not pick on the Nosferatu, who's the outsider of the Nosferatus? Tends to end up balming the ego a bit.
She was very pointed, though.
But she said she had no evidence, so why does she have that suspicion? If not, as more of a projection than anything else. Logically speaking, he gave you a warning. It's a fair one, and you answered it appropriately. It's true for every kindred. You could suddenly snap and bite my head off, betraying me. That's a truism, not a new thing. So long as we're aware that that's the case, we act accordingly.
I think that makes sense.
I believe that ends up leaving it to my question.
Mm-hmm.
What's really scaring you so much?
He's asking too many questions.
You're timid. But you're brave enough to end up coming out here alone with me, the weirdo of the group. The piece that doesn't quite fit. Which I get, being Malkavian, that's your natural state. So it gives us some kind of relation. Fantastic use, I will end up saying, and good outfit for it. But there's something else there. There's something that makes you worried. It's not just the politics, it's something else. It's something that makes you turn your chin into your chest and look down with your face and up with your eyes as though a pleading look offers a really good feeling of how helpless you are. But maybe I'm the only one who seems to notice that you're a predator posing as a house pet. So there's something scaring you.
I mean, I guess you just posted tonight already.
Sorry, say that again?
You posted tonight already. There are things important to me. Distance is honestly the best way to protect them.
Can't be too distant. I've seen that backfire too.
Yeah.
We protect humanity as they protect us. We kill humanity in the way that they kill us. We can choose to be a near lethal parasite or live in symbiosis. Those are the only two options we have. The question then is what do you want to be?
It's hard to say. I feel like if I'm anything other than this, everything's gonna spiral too quickly.
It will. And that's why we do the work now. Let's get you home, man. It's gonna be a long night.
I believe that. It's going to be a good place for us to take a quick break. And when we come back, Alex and Kane will be heading off to a bar. And we'll see what happens there. Be back soon, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to Blood and Iron, Dead Man's Hand. While Anna and Shriek were off, kind of meandering around the domain in a somewhat aimless but purposeful fashion, the direction of which was more to get an idea of the scope of the physical boundaries of their domain. And they ran into someone that Shriek knows to some degree. In the meantime, Alexandra and Kane were out to maybe follow some leads based on a pair of thin bloods or information that they'd received from the Hound, Raphael, in regards to someone who may be someone that they need to get to know, as there's the potential that this person, well, could fly off the handle at any moment, given their clan, according to them, that, but at the same time, has been reputable, as much as a reclaimed kindred could be reputable. And so, they find themselves at a bar. Not too unlike many bars where it is simply a place to sit, to have a drink. This particular bar is attached to a brewery, which handcrafts some of their own beers. And, well, it just so happens that their leads have led them here. And so, the bartender behind the counter, as you two enter, welcomes you in and asks you what you're going to have. You do see that there are several patrons already in booths and in chairs at the bar. And from what you can gather, this particular place does not serve much in the way of food, simply drinks. There's a pool table kind of across the way for anyone who wants to try their hand at pool. There's it seems to be an old pinball machine in the corner. Maybe seems a little out of date, but seems to be functioning. It's still making noise. And that is really all.
Do I see any of the people that I recognize?
It doesn't seem like any of them are here tonight at the moment.
I'll just look at the bartender. Oh, we're just getting looking around a bit. We might get a couple games of pool in. We might get drinks later, though.
Okay.
I'll take the house special.
What house special it is. And he pulls out a glass and serves you. Looks like some kind of like a not really a dark beer, but it's kind of like in the middle range in terms of color. And pulls a full glass of it and hands it over to you and gets your name for a tab. What do you tell him is your name?
I just say, no tab. I'll just pay up front, and she just hands over the cash.
Okay. It's a pretty easy thing to do with he's and so you just pay the cash up front. And so you just kind of meander around this. It's somewhat a bit of a what one would call an intimate space, as it is kind of elbow to elbow when you kind of walk in. It's kind of in a shopping center where it's a very small front space, but very long and narrow, kind of going into the back. And so the bar kind of lines the whole of one wall, the booths on the other wall, and you are free to mosey about if you'd like. And there's a pair of individuals at one booth. There's an older gentleman at another booth, and kind of a group of four at a third booth. There's a couple of people playing pool, and it looks like somebody just walked up to the pinball machine.
Alex is going to pick a table towards the pool table. She's going to take a seat. Going to gesture for her wonderful friend to follow her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, Kane would follow.
All right.
Well, nobody that I know is here yet, but the night is young.
The night is indeed young. She will slide into the booth beside him.
He will try to get in. Hope that it's not attached and it can slide to give him a little bit of room, because
it slides because most of it seems like these tables are meant to slide, as dad bod is not an uncommon thing amongst beer drinkers.
No.
And
the way that Alex kind of presents it is almost like they're on a date of sorts.
aha. Mm-hmm. So sitting right next to him, kind of getting a little close.
Mm-hmm.
Almost cuddling in, as it were.
So, do you frequent this place often?
I've been here a couple of times, but not really. I usually am too busy to have fun as
Too busy to have fun.
well, too busy to have time to myself.
All work and no play makes a dull, dull boy.
Yeah, but when you're on the grind.
Well, grinding is certainly a thing. As Alex is talking, she's casting a glance around the bar. What kind of... She's doing a bit of people watching. What does she see around her? Any interesting reactions or interactions happen?
Most everything seems rather normal, but give me a resolve and awareness to see if you spot anything unusual.
I'll give an assist because he's kind of
Also doing the same. Kind of
yeah
both of your heads on a swivel.
yeah he when he sat down he made sure to put his back to the wall to like watch the entrances and like he's just trying to take it all in.
Okay.
Oof, that could have been better. Oh well.
Do you
Could have
want to
been worse,
spend
too.
willpower? Or do you
Yeah,
want
I
to
think I
succeed at
will.
a cost?
I will spend the willpower.
Okay.
And I think I'll just re-roll the 2 dice that failed. Well, that's better than none.
Alright. Kind of looking around. Kind of between all of the patrons that you do see in the bar. You kind of looking around, kind of people watching, kind of staring for a little bit. But in one of those instances, you also spot that you and Kane are not the only heads on a swivel. The older gentleman at one of the booths seems to be eyeing around the place as he's sipping a drink.
Hmm.
He's got this kind of long white hair, clean shaven. He's got a flannel? Is that really flannel shirt on? Seems a little heavy for Texas.
I have a question. She looks to Kane as she says, "Is it normally this warm? Or perhaps it's the alcohol getting to me."
Well, this is Texas.
And she kind of nods her head in the direction of the older fellow.
Who, when you look over to him in the booth, he's sitting with his back to you.
I can see what you mean.
Alex is going to take a big old gulp of the alcohol. Just watching this older fellow out of the corner of her eye.
Do you have the eat food merit?
No, I do not.
Then you would need to rouse for blush of life, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You get a little hungrier trying to choke down that beer. It's like swill going down your throat.
You know, it's not as good as the Australian stuff.
That's something I do miss here.
You don't drink it anymore. And she kind of raises an eyebrow and gives him a look.
No, since the training and stuff, can't really afford the calories. That's something that I had to cut out a long time ago.
So, tell me, why did we come here again then?
I was hoping to see some friends, and, well, it's just nice to get out.
I suppose. So you haven't seen any of your friends?
Not at the moment. That's right, I see no one that I recognize.
Nope.
Would I have a way of getting in contact with them?
You could always call them. You're La Sombra. You don't use phones very much.
No.
How close to us is this fellow with the shirt sitting?
So if you're at one booth, there's one booth between you, and then he's at the next booth. So he's got a booth between the two seats. But you also do see that on occasion his eyes do kind of check you out for a second and then go back to his drink.
Well, I know I'd certainly be interested in making some more friends. I haven't really been in the city very long, so it'd be nice to meet some new people.
Yes. What are you thinking?
What do you mean? What do you mean, what am I thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking you might go talk to him. I'm just trying to think about where to go next. Where we can find what we're looking for.
She's kind of gonna glance over her shoulder. He's still doesn't really seem to be paying, like he's paying a little bit of attention to us, but not a huge amount.
If he is, he's not. He's trying to make it as unassuming. Question mark. Inconspicuous. He's trying not to make it very obvious. Although you've caught his eyes a couple of times, and so far is kind of failing.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of what to do next.
Could always just walk up to him.
Alex is gonna get up. And she's gonna make her way over.
Kane would follow.
So both of y'all are walking up to this booth?
Yes.
Can I help you? He says in a very strange accent.
Sorry to bother you, but I noticed that you were noticing us.
It's kind of hard not to when you're speaking very loudly.
Were we? I thought we were just speaking at a regular volume.
Well, what do you want?
Is there perhaps something that we can help you with? My name is Alex, by the way. It's nice to meet you. And she holds out her hand.
Nice to meet you. I'm Gerard. And he gives you
Gerard.
a handshake, and his hand is warm.
What kind of a grip am I getting? Is it like firm or gentle or...
It's like you're getting the grip of an old man. But also that there's a bit of tenseness behind it. Not like he wants to rip your hand off or anything, but it's solid. Like a working man's hand.
Mr. Gerard, I was wondering if you might like to join my partner and I for the evening.
For beers?
Sure. Perhaps something more. Who knows? We'll see where the night goes.
He looks at you rather confused. I don't think I understand what you're getting at.
Just getting to know each other. Maybe a game of pool, a couple of drinks, conversation.
Sure, I'm
That is
always
why
up for a
people
game of
come.
pool.
And this is why people come to these places, right? We're looking for a good time.
I suppose we can play some pool, yeah. And he gets up from the booth, kind of finishing off the last of his drink, and then goes over towards the pool table. And conveniently, it seems that if the players who were there kind of make way for him.
So he seems to be quite known in this place.
Seems to be. Kind of gives a handshake here and there to a couple of the other patrons, and then starts to set up a game. You want a break or should I?
Be my guest.
It's a little uneven if there's only 3 players.
Oh, I'll watch this round.
I need the practice. I'm not very good.
Then I'm not even going to question it anymore. You're odd.
That's not the first time I've heard that.
You got piercings through your cheeks, you got green dreads, you've got weird clothes on. Yeah, I'd say you're an oddball.
Is odd so bad?
Ladies first.
Oh, I appreciate it. How sweet. And she's going to take a cue and, I guess, break.
Okay. Now, are you actually trying to be good at the game? Or are you trying to fumble your way through it?
She's just trying to play.
She's just trying
Like,
to play.
I don't think she's somebody that's done pool a lot. It's not really her deal.
Okay. Well, let's just see how good you could potentially be. Let's make this a little fun. We're gonna say that this is going to be dexterity, and I'm gonna say let's say dexterity and I don't know, melee, I guess.
Dexterity.
Sure, because it's a pull cue.
Oh, this is gonna be fun because
I got an idea, Coffee.
Because I have no idea.
Maybe Dex Wits,
Uh,
just because you're trying to figure out on the fly angles and
yeah, that would also work. Yeah, do it. Re-roll it as dexterity wits,
Dex wits.
and we're gonna call this, who's gonna win based off of one opposed roll. So,
That's actually a much better pool, but I've rolled worse. And you know what? It works for her, so I'm gonna stick with it.
yeah.
Sorry, Mox, I was trying to help you.
You're all good.
Well, he seems to handedly be able to beat you at a game of pool. And he kind of just looks over at you. Why?
Yeah.
Again?
What do you mean? I need the practice. And you look good at it, apparently.
Well, not really.
You sure?
I don't, there's something about you, and I can't put my finger on it.
Perhaps I'm a little bit more of an oddball than you think.
Yeah, maybe.
Are you perhaps an oddball too?
Make me a charisma subterfuge, because you are using surreptitious words,
Oh shit.
but you
That's
are
so
trying to convince him that that the oddballness is a shared trait. Oh,
that was bad.
that is bad. That says some 0 successes. You're not very convincing. I don't know what you're getting at. Look, this is just kind of weird. It's kind of out of the blue, and I'm not sure how to feel about it. So I'm gonna go.
Well, you could take it as is and just an oddball trying to make a friend.
Yeah, you're a little too weird for my tastes.
Well, perhaps my partner here can help you. Perhaps she's more to your taste. And she's going to step away from the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. And he's just gonna start to walk out the door.
Oh, you want to leave before you play me?
Yeah, I'm done.
That's too bad. Nobody's trying to be strange here, but we're just trying to get to know people.
Yeah, you've mentioned that a couple of times. And getting to know people is
That so strange?
it's strange in this place.
Why?
Because it is. Why does it matter to you?
I'm just trying to understand, man.
Can I roll an insight maybe to try and get at where this little bit of hostility might be coming from him?
Sure. What's an insight?
Hey, I might be able to help or helm that.
You can roll a separate roll.
I can roll a separate roll.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't fail me, dice. Please don't fail me, dice. That could be better.
Mm-hmm.
Insight. Wits.
Yeah, both of you can tell that he's very visibly getting uncomfortable and thinks that it might just be better just to walk away. He's not doing a very good job of hiding that he's uncomfortable either.
Is it just discomfort, or is there something else underneath of it? Can I tell?
As far as your question being, what is he uncomfortable about? He's clearly uncomfortable with the conversation. He's clearly uncomfortable with the fact that you all approached him out of the blue for no reason? Question mark?
Kane's just gonna look, man. We're not trying to cruise you or do anything weird. We're just trying to have a good night.
Could have fooled me the way she's talking.
My apologies, I didn't mean to offend.
She isn't from around here, so she's not used to how we do things in Texas. But she is a sweet girl.
Well, clearly something else is going on here, and I don't want any part of it, so I'm gonna go. Who in the hell are you, anyway?
My name is Alex.
I'm Kane.
Alex Jenkins.
I'm Kane Tenebrous.
He stops for a second. Hold on. What?
What?
First of all, who names their kid Kane?
Alex legitimately, like, loses her shit.
I don't know.
You know-
have to ask my parents. They are not really around anymore.
You know, I said... the
Like,
exact
really?
same
That's your
thing.
real name?
He's just going to kind of be confused, like, why would I lie about my name?
I don't know.
I mean, I suppose they had a religious streak.
About the first
It's my
murderer in the entire universe?
So you know the old stories, then?
Who doesn't?
People who aren't really interested in Christianity.
Well, it's not
Or
quite.
pop culture.
It's not quite spelled the same, so there is that. Maybe they just like the way it sounded. I don't know.
That's
Are you perhaps a bit of a philosopher, sir?
I guess you could say that. Got some strange people coming to Texas.
Well, it's a lovely place.
Whereabouts in Texas are we again?
Kind of northeast.
Is that around Austin? Like,
It's a couple of hours, like probably 5 hours past Austin.
isn't there like a saying, "Keep Austin weird" or something like that?
That's from Austin, yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe we're just from Austin, you know. Since we're weird, I guess.
I have a question, Coffee.
Yeah.
He responded positively to me asking if he was a bit of a philosopher. What do I know about the Bruja?
That would be an intelligent occult.
Oh, something I'm good at. Let's see. Are you kidding me? I'm willpowering that. I refuse. This is her wheelhouse. Are you kidding me?
You are very aware that obviously the Bruja separated away from the Camarilla and became one of the cornerstones of the Anarch movement. But you do also know that while they have a long history of being somewhat brutish since joining up with the Anarchs, they have had a history of being very philosophical in some respects. And so when you say philosopher to him, and when you said philosopher to him, it did kind of hit a little home. So maybe this is the Bruja that you're made aware of. He seems old, though. Like, who embraces old people?
It's not that unusual. You embrace for skills and knowledge rather than off the cuff in the Camarilla. So if he's skilled and knowledgeable,
That's true.
it would make sense. After all, that's why Alex was turned.
But he hasn't really given you clues that he's kindred as of yet. Just that maybe some words kind of piqued his interest a little bit.
I happen to be interested in such things myself, Mr. Jared. Perhaps you would like to talk more about it? Sorry, Gerard.
Gerard, yeah. And Mister's kind of formal. I'm not exactly... He kind of pulls at his flannel shirt. Not the formal type.
Fair enough. I was simply raised to call people that I don't know very well Mister. Sign of respect.
Okay. Just a couple of weirdos.
Oh, we were just hoping to find a couple of people we knew. Maybe meet some new ones.
Well,
if you're a regular here, you might know them, and I'll list off the two Thin Bloods.
Yeah, I'm aware of them.
Yeah,
they come here pretty frequently. Have a couple drinks, shoot a couple racks of pool, and then call it a day, I guess.
Yeah, they're good.
I wouldn't say good.
Well,
good's a relative term.
I found them to be honorable.
To each their own, I guess. Look. We could continue this conversation outside if you want.
Absolutely, I would love to.
I could do for a walk.
Alright. And he leads you out the door, having paid his tab, and started walking. He kind of leads you towards an alleyway that seems kind of secluded.
Alex will keep up with him. Actually, she will fall into step with him.
Kane's just going to kind of keep an eye on him. Be within arm's reach.
So have you been in this area a long time, Gerard?
No. In fact, I only just got here probably... How long has it been? A year? It's hard to keep track these days.
Yeah, sometimes time is bullshit. It just kind of does what it wants to.
Sometimes time wears on. Sometimes the nights are very long, too. Wouldn't you agree?
No, however long it's been isn't that important. Is it? He says with kind of a knowing glance.
I guess not.
No, it's probably more important as to why you're here.
Well, we've recently come into some positions in the area.
Mm-hmm.
And are just getting to know the locals a little bit. I myself am very, very new to the area.
Right, get to know the locals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't go poorly every time.
I'm not exactly a people person. But I'm trying.
Well, at the same time, I'm not much of a people person either. And so, maybe we're the same in that regard.
I think we can find common ground in other regards. Don't you?
I'm just trying to figure out what you want, lady. That's really all I'm getting at.
Do you believe in supernatural creatures?
Yes.
Me too. You're a philosopher, and I'm a bit of a mage.
Uh-huh. Right.
Thus the oddballness.
Uh-huh. And what are you? Some kind of bump in the night? He kind of looks over at Kane.
I've been called worse.
Can I see if any of these terms have twigged for him? You know, mage, philosopher.
You calling yourself a mage has definitely sparked his interest. In a, oh shit, what did I get myself into kind of way.
You know, I told my friend Kane here that he should probably get his name changed.
It's not the first time I've heard that. So many connotations.
As far as I know, it's easy enough. Then again, I haven't been here long enough to actually know all of the ins and outs about changing one's name in this country. As I'm sure you don't, he says, looking at Alex.
I definitely don't.
You sound Australian.
I am. From Brisbane, actually.
Where the fuck is Brisbane?
In the north of the country. Northeast, to be specific.
Ah. Doesn't help me. I don't know my Australian geography.
Fair enough. It's like I don't really know American geography from my asshole.
Same.
Where are you from originally?
Canada.
Far north.
Edmonton.
I guess the flannels should have given you away, huh? It's a bit warm here in Texas for flannel, though, isn't it?
Is it? I can't tell.
Honestly, neither can I.
It kind of just cocks a brow at you. Right. Think I get it. Think I'm starting to get it.
And what, pray tell, is it that you think you're starting to get?
That you're not the only one who's an oddball here?
Absolutely.
Let's just stop with all this code nonsense. Stop with this bullshit. You're a supernatural creature. As
Yeah.
are you. He points to Kane. As am I.
I really wish there was some kind of handshake.
You know what? Right now, I'm kind of wishing there was as well. My God, so many hints.
That would get cracked in a heartbeat. You know that, right? As soon as you
I
start
know, but
flashing
even
secret
so-
handshakes amongst each other, that's when hunters come.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And he kind of leads you deeper into the alleyway and starts talking a little bit more softly.
Alex matches her level to his.
So if you're new to this area specifically, Arlington, that means that you're a member of the Reclaimed now?
Not exactly.
You haven't been to Elysium, have you?
No, nobody invites us.
There was a meeting where it was announced that the Primogen of the Reclaimed is gone.
Oh wait, was I there?
And there were 4 rather young, if admittedly, kindred that were put in their place. You're looking at 2 of them.
Aha. You know what? That's where I saw you from. I'm telling you, my memory's a little bit shot these days.
More than fair.
It's not because I'm getting old.
Getting old.
That's
You
usually
barely
the
look
first joke that people crack at me.
but it is a pleasure to meet you, Gerard.
I suppose it is a pleasure to meet you as well, I guess. Primogen?
It's a temporary spot. Perhaps save that for court.
Right. So what do you want? Usually a Primogen doesn't come out this way unless they need something.
We're trying to get the lay of the land.
Like, that's
Get to know the
actually something that
people.
you're doing.
Yes, actually, it is.
Yeah, see who the people are. What's going on? Are there being any troublemaker? Do people need anything?
Well, you're a lot more active than Brucata was. That's for sure.
Different circumstances, I'm sure.
Brucata's just a bitch.
Harsh.
Well,
What makes you say that?
Well, she didn't exactly take any of the concerns that any of us had seriously, and any time that somebody accidentally did something wrong, the first person she'd call would be Raphael. And then I wouldn't hear from anybody else again. So if it seems I'm a little hostile towards this Primogen sort of position that you have, it's with good reason. Because the last one just kind of offed Thin Bloods like it was willy-nilly.
Well, I can safely say I have a slightly higher respect for Thin Blood than that.
But only slightly.
I don't really
Maybe a bit
care.
more than slightly. I have to be careful with my words. We all do.
No, I think you probably hit the nail right on the head. Because most that I've met from this city don't particularly care.
Gerard, I'm not from this city. Not initially.
That doesn't change things.
Would it change things if I told you I was born Anarch?
Not particularly.
Well, put it like this. I have an idea of some of the trials and tribulations that the Thin Bloods go through.
Uh-huh. So does every quote-unquote sympathetic ear. It's not something I'm not a fledgling that just believes you at your word.
Then take our action.
That usually proves to be a lot more truthful.
I'm sure it
Well,
does.
At least the ones that I've dealt with will attest to the fact I don't care where people come from. It's more of their character and who they are and what they do that I care about.
Says the man who pits Thin Bloods against other Thin Bloods for sport.
It's a way to solve disputes. I don't do it just because
You do it because might makes right.
it's a
Right.
way to let out aggressions. And it's
Yeah.
a way for people to get things done.
And the winner is the guy who's on top, and that person gets what they want, and the little guy gets stomped all over. I've heard this song and dance before. So yeah, you might be Primogen. I might have to respect you for that. But the minute that anybody comes after my people, I don't take lightly to that.
So you take care of everybody's woes.
That's the thing that you'll find about me too. I take care of people that I consider, especially my fighters. I don't care if they're kindred or human. Most of them didn't come from a good place and they needed a way to make good.
Yeah, well. Again, actions speak louder than words. I don't believe a lick of what you're saying. I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh,
What do you and yours need?
yeah, I just said I don't care about what you believe. I'm here about knowing what the people need. What's going on? Is there anybody fucking with? I want to know the nitty gritty of everything in this domain.
The nitty gritty? You want to know what's the nitty gritty around here? We're kept out of the loop. Nobody tells us shit. And with good reason, I suppose, because there's a lot of former anarchs who, obviously, during whatever the purge was that couple of years ago, that event spurred them to join the Camarilla. But what happens? They all get dumped right here. Myself included. So we just get dumped off, told to fend for ourselves, and then people wonder, why hasn't anybody been informed in this place? Well, because nobody gives a shit about us.
Okay.
The fact that we're here meeting with you and trying to figure out should say enough that we're
That
not
is-
the same.
That is more than Brucata ever did.
So you are feeling left.
I think that's putting it lightly. Yeah.
Is there anything else that your people want for?
I will have to ask because As far as that goes, I've been able to manage. But as far as getting information into here, and what the Camarilla wants to do with us, and kind of being on the lookout for that, you know, having the Scourge come through and just kind of, and then people disappear, and you wonder where the fuck people went. Like, I didn't know that Brocada was even missing.
So she just had no contact with you at all?
She talked to Raphael. And that's it.
Does Raphael speak to you often?
He and I don't see eye to eye. He has his methods, I understand. He's the Hound. Whatever. But as far as his methods, not a fan of.
What methods does he use?
Rip your arm off and beat you to shit with it.
Brutal.
Effective.
In a sense, yes. But not good for building trust.
No.
If you keep kicking a down dog, eventually he's going to bite back too. It's not
And
the
when-
smartest way to go.
And when they do, that's all the excuse they're looking for.
Well, like I said,
right.
we're different.
Look, I'm not here to make waves. I'm just here
No.
because I'm stuck.
Well, do me a favor.
Well,
Get the people that need things. Even if they have to figure out someone to speak for them to come talk to us. See what we can do. If people are messing with you, come tell me. If people are causing waves, come tell me.
you can get in contact with myself, or Kane, or Shriek. God forbid.
Yeah, that one I'd leave alone. They're kind of a pain in the ass.
But we want things to run smoothly, Gerard.
As do
We
I.
don't want to make a mess.
I don't either.
Certainly don't want your people going missing.
That would be nice.
But that is kind of alarming, considering Ricotta also did go missing.
Yeah, I don't know the details about all of that. We hadn't heard from her in a couple of days, or at least heard word from her. She never talked to us directly, but we always do her to find her. And then one day, she just wasn't there. And now you're here, and Brocado is now declared officially to be missing. And you're kind of acting in her place.
Yes.
And that's about as much as we know.
That's about as much as anybody knows.
We're simply trying to get our feet on the ground and stable.
Fair.
So here's my proposition. If you need anything, if your people need anything, come to us and we'll see what we can do. We will, of course, have to navigate the bureaucracy of the Primogen Council and all that fun stuff, but
Right.
we'll do what we can as best we
I'm not unfamiliar with the bureaucracy that is the Camarilla.
can. Yes. I believe it's a necessary evil.
We all have our hands tied by something.
Exactly.
Well, I hope that this has been an informative evening for you.
Absolutely. And it's nice to put a face to a clan.
As far as I know, I'm the only one.
That's what Balthazar told me. But it has been an absolute pleasure to meet you. And I truly hope our future meetings go just as well.
Well, if there are future meetings.
Only
I'm
as
certainly
we
hoping
need.
so.
Well, you all have a fun night.
And you too.
I have other things I gotta get to doing.
There is
Us as
one
well,
thing.
unfortunately.
What's that,
There is,
Kane?
you owe me a game of pool sometime. I'm interested now.
You're the one who wussed out and said you didn't want to play me.
No, I let the lady go first. Isn't that the best southern thing that a man can do?
Fuck if I know.
Fuck, I need to get better at this manners thing.
You'll get there. We'll train it into you. Don't you worry.
Anyways, like I said, if you guys need anything, and I'll hold my hand out to shake it. His.
And he'll reach out his hand and shake your hand, and it is a firm grip.
Yeah, I'm giving a good handshake.
Alex will also reach out to shake his hand.
And it's solid. He's very strong.
You know, you're not a bad actor. If it wasn't for the shirt, I wouldn't have guessed.
Thanks. I guess.
It is meant as a compliment, I promise.
Well, that's all I've got left of home, I guess. Whenever the fuck I get home.
Yeah, put the word out if people need anything, or they need to know things. We'll try to make our rounds as often as we can, or they can get in contact with us.
All right. I'll see you around then.
Have a good night, Gerard. Stay safe.
Right. And he exits the alley and starts to walk away.
Alex would like to use Sense the Unseen.
Okay. You can roll for Sense the Unseen.
If my dice don't want to fuck me.
Your dice are a little fucky-wucky today.
Yeah, they just don't like me.
You don't see anything out of the ordinary.
You never know when they're being watched. And it's a concern. But if they have to play nice, they can. And if they can keep those here sated, all the better for the Camarilla.
All right. So where are y'all off to next?
Oh shit, I'd meant to ask about Alex wants to take a quick look around the more businessy style areas to see if there's any places that are dual storied with availability for rent. Just with a quick cursory glance.
With a quick cursory glance. Okay.
Kane would be doing the same thing, maybe looking to expand the gym into this area.
Your gym already kind of borders on this area.
Oh, okay, so it can
It's close
serve
enough.
in both areas.
Yeah.
Okay. Because he does want to expand eventually, but
Cool.
And she is going to let Kane know what she's doing.
Okay. Then, Alex, with the assistance of Kane, you can make me a wits. And since it's in the general area and you're not really searching through like want ads or anything like that, it's going to be a wits and awareness.
What's awareness?
It is a high difficulty because there's not a lot here, but
do I get a bonus modifier?
Kane, do you have awareness?
yep.
Then yes.
I'm gonna willpower that. Fuck it.
Okay.
While I can risk it, I will. Ah.
Duck.
In the immediate area, there doesn't seem to be any business space for rent. But that isn't to say that there might not be something else that you just have to look for when in like ads for office or commercial space. But in the immediate area, from what you can see, no, there's nothing here.
Even if I can just turn a residential into a business space, that's also possible.
You would need to, if that's something you were thinking about, make me a wits and that's gonna be more like a wits and I'm gonna say politics.
Oh, I'm not that. But let's go. Yep, my dice hate me.
It's certainly an idea, but you might want to talk to somebody who's more of a professional when it comes to real estate, when it comes to that, because you have no idea what the first thing of the fact that you have a business right now is
A miracle.
A miracle in itself. Knowing the ins and outs of turning a residence into a business, you have no idea. So you would know, I should probably talk to a professional about this.
Maybe I have to get a recommendation from someone. Perhaps Balthazar can give me a hand.
Perhaps. All right. Well, with that being the case, I think what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and call the session here, since Derek did have to dip out, and we can continue on with more of this investigation stuff next time. But thank you guys so much for playing.
Thank you so much for hosting.
Yes. I love you guys.
All the love.
All the love. So,
Good return.
yeah, we're gonna quickly get some things going for all of the end of session stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Those of you who are watching, and of course from my cast for playing in my lovely new game.
Love it.
Yes.
Always.
Yes. So if Black Wolf, you would get the poll started, we're going to start in on experience. So we do things very similarly to how everyone in our circle does experience when it comes to between me and Derek, in that everyone at the table who came by to play gets one. Congratulations, you get a consolation prize. And
Wow.
and then between the players, we deliberate who had our best scene, who moved our plot the furthest, and who had the best line. And then you, the audience, get to also play a role in the experience of these lovely kindred, as you get to vote on your audience favorite. And it is subject to channel points, so be sure, if you have them, to spend them on your favorite, because we are fickle gods that way. So, who moved the plot the furthest?
I'm gonna have to give that one, personally, to Alex. I feel like Alex did a lot of social maneuvering. She met Gerard, and I feel like Gerard is accidentally going to be a pretty significant plot line here. Also, for me, what I think is a really interesting plot line, Gerard and Raphael.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm like,
That's juicy. That's juicy because I do like Raphael. He's clearly he's not a great guy, but I like him.
But an awesome Ninja Turtle.
I want Anna to be friends with him.
you know what? I'm actually not going to argue that plot mover one.
All right. What you think, fat guy?
Yeah, I can go with it.
Okay. Alex, it is. Best scene.
For me, that one goes to Anna with her partner. That just broke my heart.
Oh.
I was
Thank
like,
you.
no, Anna.
Well, a very hard decision to be made there.
Rough.
For me, it was dropping the fucking bombshell that was Jade Kaufman. I would give it to Derek on that, just because of like that whole situation and then maneuvering around that. Like as soon as like those points connected in my brain, I short circuited. I'm not gonna lie. I was supposed to have a reaction. I couldn't. I was like,
Connecting my games together.
Trying
Error
so hard.
404, reaction not found.
Yep.
Yes. But
I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up between both of them for me. For different reasons.
Well, you're going to have to make a decision, my guy.
No, I don't. I can let it tie.
No, you can't. I'm forcing you to make a decision, my guy.
Coffee's not allowing it today.
Please make a decision.
I don't like being made to do things, though.
Experience has to go somewhere. I forfeit.
Look. I was going to say, look, you're not allowed to be a brat right now. Save that for the bedroom.
Well,
I'm more of a tamer, but we'll go with it.
We've already got a tie started in
I'll give it to Derek because that whole like it was good. Like I really liked Anna. It made me feel things, but you know.
All right, to Derek it is. To Shriek it is. All right. So, who had our best line?
I shower occasionally.
Was a good one.
I mean, it's correct, but please, Shriek.
Shriek's Haven. No running water, no electricity.
You know, this is going to be a weird one, but I kind of want to give it to Kane just by basis of the fact that Alex outright said, like, we're gonna try and take the we're a couple approach, and then Kane just
He blue screened.
ignored it, looks over at Gerard and is like, hey, you're trying to get with that guy, right?
Gerard blue screens.
Anna. Like,
Anna gets the audience favorite, by the way.
thank you.
Like, Alex was just trying to get him to leave the fucking building with them. Like, it's just like, once we've got him out of the building, we can actually have a proper conversation with him. But no.
It's like, between that and, like, Kane trying to be like, man, I really need to learn my matters. No, that's Gerard. Kane, you're right. You got it. You got the whole gentleman's thing. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm enjoying kind of figuring this character out. He's kind of...
I love him. I think he's great so far.
He's really fun, so.
Because he's just
Alex
like...
turning around to him at the last minute there and being like, don't worry, we'll beat it into you. It's fine.
Well, that's about something he'd be used to, is people try to beat stuff into him. So...
Joke's on him. He doesn't realize Alex means it in a sexy way.
This could also work. He is not opposed.
Dude, she was trying to, like, throw out a proposition for a threesome, and it just went over both of their heads. She's like, why do I even try? Like...
She's like, I can only make these kinds of swings with Streak, and he doesn't even swing that way.
Exactly.
Well, no, I'm also channeling some of myself in...
To be fair.
Where shit like that does go over my head, I'm like, wait, people might actually...
To be fair,
like me? What?
Gerard is the most asexual character I have ever played.
Oh, I love it.
Like, this man
Sigma.
never got married, never had kids, got old, was embraced, still has no interest.
Did he have a pet cat?
No.
That's sad, because he and Rodney would probably get along pretty well.
Yeah. No.
They would.
No, he was more of a hunter, like a wild game hunter in Edmonton, so.
He probably had like a bloodhound. He had one bloodhound in his old age, and he loved that dog to death. And then when it died, he just couldn't bear to get another. He's one of those guys.
Like building a whole ass story.
Raven said he had 2 pet fledglings at one point, which I suppose is enough.
It's the same thing as a dog, right?
Same thing, yeah. Basically.
Oh, so wait, who was getting best line again?
Who was getting best line? Let's get back on track.
I'm giving it to Kane. For
let's give it to Kane.
Best line and best lack of line.
Kane it is. Alright. Love it, love it. Love to see it. But yeah, so we've got we had plot mover being Alex, we had best scene being Shriek, and then we had best line being Kane. And then Anna got the audience favorite. So that's everything when it comes to experience. And there's no stains to issue out. So there's
I think I achieved my desire too.
If you did, you can recover a superficial or aggravated willpower.
Because I technically learned more about Raphael.
Oh.
Yeah.
What more did you learn about Raphael?
How he interacts with those of the unclaimed. Which apparently is not very pleasant.
Well, he's a hound. He is a hound.
Yeah.
He's meant to enforce the law when inappropriate. Well, when inappropriate and when appropriate. You know, both. But yes, that finishes everything up for Blood and Iron, and we want to give Derek our love because he wasn't feeling too great. all day today, and so had to dip out pretty early. But I'm gonna let him know that he got some experience today. So, with that being said, let's find somebody to raid, and we're gonna get our raid messages in. What should be the raid message for who we go and land on? Because we're probably gonna find somebody from the TTRPG communities that we're part of. Well, it doesn't look like anybody that I know is on, so I am taking suggestions for a raid. From either the chat or from my cast members. Because I'm not seeing anybody that I know that's on.
I know our raid message.
What's our raid message?
Our game sucks.
No, I was thinking more of a quotable line from the show.
I was making the corny vampire joke.
All right. Well, let's see where we're going here. So, Zulu Foxtrot is live, and I believe Zulu is working on his webcomic. So we can go raid Zulu, who's doing some art. Or Stella Cosmister is a friend of Black Wolf and is playing Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I think yeah, let's go raid Stella. Let's go find somebody new to go and have a party with. So, let me mute this really quick. And just get them pulled up. See what they doing. And so let's take a look. All right, and then yeah, let's do a let's raid, and so we can get the raid messages ready, as well as the raid message should be what was the line from Shriek today?
I shower occasionally.
Do we want to do that, or do we want to do something else? Because I'm open to suggestions for that too. So, or vampires, bleh, like like Vancouver.
Vampires, I am here to suck your blood.
Bleh. We can do just vampires. If you just want to like shout vampires at them, let's do that. And the let's raid message from the bot, you can put that in chat too.
We could do the Nicolas Cage meme. I'm a vampire. I'm a vampire. Everybody just starts screaming, I'm a vampire.
I'm a vampire sounds cool. Let's do I'm a vampire. Everybody shout I'm a vampire when we raid. So let's raid. Let me grab their name again. Stella Cosmister. And get it going. So thank you guys so much for all of your participation in today's stream. We will be back tomorrow with some Rebirth detail where the party is going to travel some more. So
Or the coterie.
yes, I mix these things up.
The coterie of the Lucky Sevens.
Yes, we're the Lucky Sevens. All right, so get your raid messages ready, everybody. I'm a vampire or coffee raid from the bot. So we shall see you all next time. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
No.
Nope. Okay. Good night.